It's still cheating if you're separated. Socially, I would feel like I would need to have that conversation so we can know the parameters of the separation. Because if I'm separated and done with your ass, then and divorce is on the way, like, nah, it's not cheating. But if we need a break to figure shit out, but we open to the possibility of coming back, yeah, we gonna need to discuss things. And I feel like on that Red Table Talk, things were not discussed.
Not at all.
So what say you, Osa? Is it cheating if you're separated?
All right, so my take on this whole thing when it comes to whether it's cheating or not when you're separated is very much about, yes, the clarification of what separated means, what that entails, what are the boundaries. Y'all have to have all that mapped out and laid out clearly in order to truly define it. But in, like what you were saying, the legal sense, and then in some people's minds, the religious or other marital ways that you view marriage in whatever lens, it is most likely, and in most cases, yes, it's still cheating, because in the, I guess, traditional terms of what separation means, it is you two saying that you're no longer together at the moment, but it's not saying that you aren't going to get back together. So therefore, there's no green light explicitly stated that you can date other people or fuck other people or have, entanglements.
Entanglements.
The song is a bop. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, that song go.
He did his thing on that one.
It's kind of catchy. But you can file for legal separation, and I think, again, it depends on the state, but I think
there's some nuance to
it. It's like you have to not be living together.
Yeah, I think there's certain requirements.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure.
I think I know, like, one of them, and again, it depends on the state, but living apart is, like, necessary for a lot of legal separations.
For legal ones, yeah, for sure.
But if you didn't file legal separation and you just took space and said you were separated,
right?
Listen, I don't know.
And
it's complicated.
And from what I understand, they didn't take any legal route when it came to the separation pieces, Will and Jada, did they?
I have no idea. They didn't say specifically. They did say on Red Table Talk that they were separated.
That they were separated.
So that's why
I was done like, with your ass. That's what he said.
Right?
I was done with your ass.
I was like, this question needs to be asked.
Yeah. Some clarification needs to be had.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go on to the next one now.
All right.
Shoot. What is the next question? When do adults become responsible for their choices? Man. Now, okay, I'm getting this one. You call it?
Tails.
Yes, watch. God damn. Jada wins again.
So when do adults become responsible for their choices? Well, again, legally at 18. Now, sure, brain development isn't fully functioning there, complete.
Yeah, brain development isn't like fully complete until
mid-20s.
Yep, around 25.
However, the government decided for whatever reason that you can join the army at 18, that you can basically be legally responsible for yourself. So somehow in this controversial situation, everybody's like, August was too young, even though he was in his 20s, his early 20s. And I'm like, okay, now we approaching like halfway through college, about to be on our way out. When are you going to be able to be responsible for your choices?
Hey.
Like, you're not a minor. That shit's done. Right. And as far as the emotional growth, age does not determine that. There's some people in their 80s who have not learned a single thing, have not done any emotional growth work, and still making the same mistakes. I'm just saying.
That's true. That's facts. Some of them were clients.
So what say you? When do adults become responsible for their choices?
Honestly, I would say that adults become responsible for their choices at the age of 18 when it comes to their responsibility. Again, going back to the legal route.
I mean,
that's where it is. That's what we said. Now, I get where people are trying to go with like the whole manipulation thing because August was in a bad headspace.
But so was Jada.
Right. They don't perceive them as being in the same headspace because I think August had...
He had a lot of loss.
Yeah, he had a lot of loss. He had a lot of trauma. He was suicidal. So it was like a lot was going on for the brother at the time. And also that was like that was Jaden's friend first. You know? So I kind of get, you know, where they're coming from with that. But on the other hand, he's still responsible for himself and as an adult. So like it's just like with other human beings, when you're an adult, you can be taken advantage of while still being adult and having to take responsibility for the fact that you were taken advantage of.
No, you allowed that.
Right. Exactly. So, although you can say there was manipulation in terms of timing and everything else like that, that's like with almost any other thing. If someone, this is a classic example, is that a lot of guys do. If a girl is just broke up with her boyfriend or something else like that, it's like, oh, I gotta get it right now because she's emotional. That's about timing. So, is it emotionally manipulative to a certain extent? Yes, but it's also about timing and social norms.
And again, what's she doing?
Right.
She can say no.
So the whole reason why this is seen as being something very blown up is because it's Jada. If this was a normal relationship with somebody else and you didn't really know about it, you probably wouldn't care and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But because it's Jada and it's on the spotlight, I think even the predatory behavior is overhyped. And I don't think so. I don't even think August likes being seen in that way. That's probably why he put out the song. He was like, no, this is how it was. I was fully aware of what was going on.
He was a man,
right?
Baby.
Like he was saying, I was handling my shit. I was doing shit Will couldn't do. He was saying a whole bunch of stuff. He was getting real spicy on the song.
Very confident.
So he clearly did not feel like any victim. Yeah. So I think even he would push back against that narrative. I think he was fully aware. And if maybe it started off as like maybe a manipulation thing, it grew to be either something... And that's kind of what Jada was expressing. It grew to be something where they both grew from that emotionally and had an actual decent connection.
And they both consented to it.
Right. So you can't really put that on them. I understand everybody's perspective on that, but to be hypercritical of Jada without really picking out what's going on within the relationship, and again looking and asking the man himself who was in it, it's a little bit, it's a little bit off.
And again, when would adults become responsible for their own choices? Like, what age would work for you?
So again, if he was in his 30s, would you be saying the same thing? Is it just the age? Because then I don't understand that either. That goes back to like the manipulation thing. It doesn't really matter. If you're a 30-year-old who broke up with their boyfriend and another 30-year-old tries to shoot their shot at you because they know that you're emotionally available, is that less of a manipulation than if you're in your 20s and you do the same thing? I don't understand. What
about 60s and 40s?
Right.
Again, emotional maturity is not dependent on age.
Right.
As many of us millennials found out when we reached adulthood and said, what the fuck y'all acting like high schoolers?
So, yeah, for that one, I think this is like a rush to judgment because it's an easy target and it's easy to feel bad for August because he was going through all those things. But I think, if anything, August is trying to own his story and say, like, no, I was in a lot more control of this than anyone.
I'm just saying. I saw the picture.
Oh my God.
Very well endowed. He knew what he was doing.
Right. So.
And Jada fine.
It is fun. And her mom fine.
Her mama fine too.
How the hell your mama
that's some good genes.
Yo, her mom look younger than her some days.
She be working out though.
I'll work her out. What? This is a family show. What? I told y'all last time.
No, it ain't.